Then all of a sudden, you've got to go and start moving backwards.
Get your financial awareness booster. Welcome to Think Smarts. This is Lee.
I'm Mark Cardoza.
Okay, into 2023.
Yes.
One of the biggest news in the financial world or retirement positioning world is the Secure Act 2.0.
Right.
Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, it's the Secure Act on steroids.
Yeah. If you wonder what's the major change in Secure Act 2.0, I will put a list for you in the description below. So Mark, among all the changes, which one do you think is going to affect your retirement life the most?
Well, I think the required minimum distribution should be our topic today.
Okay, so give us a brief introduction of what is.
Okay, an RMD.
Yeah.
It's referred to as RMD. It's required minimum distribution. Is the amount of money you need to remove from your qualified funds when you turn a certain age.
Yeah. So Mark, when you're talking about qualified fund, what would a qualified fund are?
What is a qualified fund?
Yes.
Okay, qualified money, as you know, we've talked about this before, is money that has not been taxed. It comes out of your paycheck and it goes into a 401k, a 403b. It could go into an IRA eventually. So that's what qualified money is. So what this segment is about is the required minimum distribution, referred to as RMDs. So that portion is what the government tells us that we have to take at a certain age. So currently, they just changed it this year to 73, and in 10 years, changing it to 75.
Okay.
So that means when you add up all your qualified money, you have to take a certain amount of that depending on the chart for a distribution. This year in 2023, it's up to 73 years old. So at 73 years old, you go to a chart that's set up by the IRS, and it's a divisor. So then you take that divisor and you add up all your qualified money, which is, again, your 401ks, your 403bs, your IRAs, and you divide by that number, and that's the amount of money you need to take. And they can change that chart at any given time, which I think they did a couple of years ago. So that's the RMD. So what the 2.0 is doing, it's allowing people to delay taking money out of that source, out of that retirement pocket, delaying it for a couple more years. So how does that help and how does that hurt?
Yeah, I would wonder, will that benefit the retiree? It's like someone may retire at 65, 67. They may want to take the money out already because they want to use that to supply their life.
Right. They might need that money to live on. So they need to take it. So people can start taking it at 59 and a half years old. So those who have to take it, but those who don't have to take it always want to delay it. So I guess that's what that population is, the population that is most affected by the 2.0. For years, you've done nothing but accumulate. And then when you start to go into a distribution phase, it's sort of like working different. It's like you're moving forward constantly. Then all of a sudden, you've got to go and start moving backwards. The 2.0 is allowing people to delay longer. So it's great in the sense that you're going to get a bigger fund, but at the same time, you're getting older. So when you look at it in the long run, you're shortening your distribution period. And with the changes of the tables and the tax laws, you could ultimately pay more in taxes than you're going to pay if you take it sooner. So that's an important thing to understand. So I refer to my notes. The funds are growing larger. The individual is getting older. The distribution table divisor is getting larger as you get older, and the future tax tables are unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the concerns. The responses are larger taxation, shortened distribution phase, funds remaining untransferable and unprotectable, and it creates potential long-term care issues.
Okay.
So when we talk about retirement planning, the word planning means in the future. We're doing something, we're planning for the future. So when we look at these things, we have to look at what's ahead of us. So at age 40 or 45 years old, you almost have to fast forward 30, 40 years and try to figure out where you are there. So when I talk about long-term care planning and the 2.0, if I'm turning 65, if I wait another 7 years to start taking my required minimum distributions, they're going to be larger, but I'm also shortening the period of time to when I may need long-term care. So if I start taking my RMDs at 73 and I need long-term care at 85, right? I've only got a 12-year period to take my RMDs before I need long-term care. And that long-term care may require me to take money out of my retirement plan with large amounts, because I may need to pay for an assisted living, I may need to pay for a nursing home, I may need to pay for in-home care.
Yeah.
How does the 2.0 impact our retirement plan at that point? So if you're suddenly having to go into an assisted living, or you're bringing extra help into the home, you're probably going to be paying anywhere upward about $8,000 to $10,000 a month.
That's a lot of money.
That $8,000 to $10,000 a month has to come from somewhere. So if you're not already getting it out of your pension, Social Security, and your current distributions, you need to grab it from somewhere. And if it's coming out of a qualified fund, you're going to be it's treated as ordinary income. So if I need to take out, say for instance, I need to take out an additional $40,000 a year out of my retirement fund to live, to meet my everyday needs. Then on top of that, if I need to take another $5,000 a month for my long-term care needs, okay, we're adding another $60,000 a year onto that. So now my RMDs have gone from, what I say, $40,000, add another I'm taking $100,000 out of my retirement fund to handle my cost of living plus my long-term care. On top of that, with Social Security, it takes my Social Security and throws it to the highest level of 85%. It takes my pension, which should be 100% if it needs to be. And now I'm being taxed at a much greater rate than I was before. It might send me from the 10 or 15% effective tax rate to the 24% effective tax rate.
So that's new to a financial
It would double
limbo.
it could double my tax rate. So let's put that in perspective. If I have $1 million in qualified money and I'm at the 24% tax bracket, $240,000 of that $1 million belongs to Uncle Sam.
We're talking
not
about
all mine.
effective tax rate.
The effective tax rate, right? It's not all mine. And people say to me, how do I determine an effective tax rate? It's very simple. You take the amount of taxes you paid from your 1040 and you divide that by your adjusted gross earning. So it's really simple. So by delaying taking your RMDs isn't helping. It's almost hurting you because you don't know what's ahead of you. Well, say you retire at 65 years old. That was the traditional retirement age. Not now, but it was the traditional. So say you retire at 65 years old, but you start taking distributions from your retirement fund. Okay? It's going to lengthen the time period of which you can take your distribution. You're going to stretch
Mhm.
it out. It's going to lower your taxation.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you could take that money, pay the taxes on it. It becomes non-qualified money. Then you can invest that non-qualified money. So that money's still going to grow, but it's going to be after taxation. And now that non-qualified money, the taxes are only going to be based on the interest it earned.
Mm.
Okay? So, and you can take that non-qualified money and defer the interest just like you did with your qualified money. There are tax-deferred programs out there that allow that to happen. So then when you took money out of that non-qualified fund, the interest would only be taxable. But in most states, you can protect the non-qualified money
Yeah.
from being used for long-term care.